I think they know everything.
Sounds good. Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm the plant manager here. Nice to see everybody. I think I'm going to split the group in half and send half of you guys with me and half with Kevin, who is upstairs. And so I don't know how you want to divide yourselves, but
right here.
Right there, okay. I'm good. Do you want to start downstairs or upstairs?
Sure.
Okay, so just half of you follow me upstairs and the other half stay together.
How are you? Jeremy, I'm the one email. Okay. Guys, you're upstairs. Hope's here. Hope's here.
Have been to probably most of the plants in the area, so you know all about the Clackamas River.
Gallery area door.
And we are one of the 5 treatment plants that draw water from the Clackamas River. We're the lowest straw on the river. We're about 3/4 of a mile from where the Clackamas runs into the Willamette, is where our intake is, and that's in Gladstone on the north side, I guess, of the river. We're rated at 16 million gallons a day, and we're considered by the state to be a direct filtration plant, although we do have sedimentation basins. They're just not quite big enough to be considered a truly conventional plant. We've been here since 1968. We provide all of the water to City of Lake Oswego, and then we have a few smaller wholesalers around. We supply a little water to Tigard. We supply a little water to some of the small communities around surrounding Lake Oswego. We're also in the midst of an expansion. So we have a project partnership with City of Tigard that is was set up in 2008, and the goal of that project is to expand this treatment plant, build a new intake, put new pipeline in so that ultimately we can supply Lake Oswego's all of their future water needs, and also we can supply Tigard's water as well in the future. So that is going on, yes.
So those signs outside that say the Lake Oswego Tigard, what are those about?
Those are, so as you can see, we're in a residential neighborhood, and we have neighbors very close around us, and we are also located in West Lynn, and although we serve West Lynn with emergency water, we're not the primary water source. So for all of those reasons, there has been a lot of protests and a lot of objection to our treatment plant upgrade here in the neighborhood. And so those, there's been a neighborhood group that has really been very vocal about not wanting us to expand in the neighborhood. So that's what the signs are for. And we've just been, it's been one of the challenges to upgrading our treatment plant is to work with the neighborhood, make sure that we're also meeting their needs, and so it's just it's hard to have a big construction project in your backyard, and so that's kind of what some of these folks are facing.
So this is where the whole debate thing was over on the Westland or Lake Oswego?
That's correct, yeah. So we went in for our land use permit to West Lynn, and we started that process last year. We actually got turned down by the planning commission, and so we appealed that to the city council, and the city council ultimately approved our land use permit so we could continue on with the project. But so it was very, very controversial.
We had to do a little thing on it. We all were on your side. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Like they all say, whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting, so that has been the case with this project. So you're in our treatment plant control room, and Brett behind you is operating the plant right now. And,
Wow. Whole place.
the whole place. He's also, so he's got 2 screens up on our SCADA system. Who knows what SCADA stands for?
Supervisory control. Acquisition.
Anybody know? Anyway, it is.
Supervisory.
Supervisory.
Control.
Management, acquisition.
It's
I only remember the-
supervisory control and data acquisition system. And stupid computers at double arms.
That's one I always
That's
remember.
the
Yeah.
North Clackamas. If you talk to Alan and Dave at North Clackamas, that was probably their term. So what Brett has is one page to the left, which is our water treatment plant sort of general information page, and you've got some information on our filters, our filter head loss, our filter turbidity, our filter runtime hours. You've got some graphs on there that is telling us how those filters are operating, what the pressures are going out of the plant, and then you've got a lot of water quality information on that. And then the right-hand side, we have a whole bunch of little bar graphs, and those all represent reservoirs in our distribution system. So we have 15 reservoirs. We have 16 reservoirs. We have 16 reservoirs and 11 pump stations in our distribution system. And at the treatment plant, we monitor and operate the water flow through in all of those reservoirs and pump stations. And we have another crew, we call our water operations crew, that are located out at our operations center. Did you guys visit them?
Yes.
Okay, at our operations center, and they do all of the maintenance and work on those reservoirs and pumps, as well as the pipes underground of these sort of main breaks and backflow is all done out of operations department. And here we have 9 full-time employees now. We're kind of trying to start to staff up for our expansion project.
So you'll be hiring.
Well, we've hired a couple, and we hope to be able to hire more. But we're
You
waiting.
guys do interns here at all?
We have done interns. We've got we've got one intern for the summer.
Jeremy.
Brett started out as an intern. So we've had.
You guys are 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
John Lewis?
You're still there?
So lost my train of thought. Anyway,
Screens went up, or?
no, we'll walk around the plant. Anyway, so we control our SCADA system is how we control and monitor the system.
Is that water use, the spikes?
That is actually our particle counter software. So our particle counter software is a little older. A particle counter is kind of a complement to turbidity measurements, and we have it on a separate computer system that we can monitor.
Is it linked up to your actual additions of polymers, vinyls, or anything? Is it,
The particle counters?
yeah,
or
does it have anything to
the,
do with that, or is it just?
no, the particle counters are, particle counting is not, in Oregon, is not a regulated requirement. So really, we use our particle counts as just additional information. It helps us to predict maybe if a filter is going to break through. Sometimes we see particles start to increase before we see turbidity increasing. So we can tell if we have a problem, something like that, based on particle counts. And so they're just additional information the operators get to use to sort of help inform how they
All the water
treat the water, how they run the filters. We treat with aluminum sulfates. We pre-chlorinate in this treatment plant with sodium hypochlorite. That's one of the reasons why we're doing our upgrade and expansion. Right now we have to pre-chlorinate in order to get our contact time. So we have to use our settling basins for part of our contact time. And so we're hoping to do away with that with our
Like 2
new
days now.
upgrade.
Like that, obviously.
And I can hear Kevin coming up the stairs, so I'm gonna take you guys outside. We can- filters, like I said, is 36 inches of anthracite, 8 inches of sand. We have a water surface sweep on these. We backwash after about 24 to 35 hours or so of service. We backwash these based on head loss, unless a filter maybe breaks through in turbidity early before it's reached our set point in head loss. The operators initiate the backwash, but the process actually goes through automatically via our SCADA system. So they'll say go, and then they'll watch it as the SCADA system takes it through, takes the backwash through its steps. All right, let's go look at lagoons. Sediment drying, and actually these are backwash lagoons, and we also, when we clean out our settling basins, we clean them out into these lagoons. We had a comment that these were bigger than the plant itself, and that's a big factor into our expansion. We could not afford the space to build more of these for our plant expansion, so we're moving over to a more mechanical technology. We're using a thickener and a screw press to dewater our solids now, and so we'll be going over from basically evaporation over to something a little more mechanical with our new plant. We also recycle our backwash water. That was a question that was asked. So we, the two lagoons in the middle are online. This lagoon is offline. For the online lagoons, the water, backwash water comes in on that end, and then it flows through slowly through the lagoon, and the big sediment kind of settles out, and then we recycle the clearer water on the top back through our treatment process, right back into the raw water. In fact, this vault right behind you, we have our raw water line going, and we put that backwash water in right in the raw water line before any of the chemicals are added. So
Your water's flashing, but I don't see it.
right, so we do have a discharge permit to discharge water to the Willamette River, and our discharge line is right here. You hear some splashing water because there's some, a lot of it ends up being groundwater, but we do have some water that ends up going out in our discharge line, and that's water you hear kind of flowing past right now. But if we did have to take a lagoon and drain it, we could, and we would drain it through either that line or the far line over there.
And what do you do with the dried sediment?
The dried solids we take, typically it goes to a landfill. Okay. So we test it every year for total leachable compounds, T-clip, and then we will send it to one of a variety of typically rock quarries in the area that just takes it as fill from where they're quarrying.
How long does it take to dry?
It takes, you know, we have these drying off and on throughout the year. So even in the winter, we'll take a lagoon offline and we'll let a layer dry for about a month, and then we'll put it back online and we'll let a new layer add to it. Mm-hmm. And so we're drying them off and on all through the year, and then in the summer we'll take them offline for maybe a month or so, or two, and we have to get our front loader in and stir it all up, and we ultimately dry that in a few months. So, but it takes a lot of moving around. It's not very efficient for us.
So with you have to do all that in the summer months, huh? I mean, because I
Yes.
think it just fill up with all the rain.
Correct, yeah. It gets a little bit of drying in the winter, but we do have to finish up the drying in the summer to get it out of here.
So once you settle for a couple days, do you just decant, like pump the stuff off the top, the clear stuff off the top, and just keep a...
Yes. We basically basically, like that lagoon over there on line, we would recycle, we would turn off the influent, we would recycle as much water as we can into the treatment plant until it got down, and then we might, we do have capability of pumping into sewer, or we would just pump as much down as we can and then let the rest dry by evaporation, or some of it does go into the sewer system.
Okay, thank you.
So, let's go take a look at our lime building. Actually, behind you here, if you have any information about our plant, it may have previously said that we had carbon dioxide. We do not have carbon dioxide anymore. This used to be our carbon dioxide tank, and we hadn't been using it very much. It was for corrosion control. Carbon dioxide lowered the pH, and it was kind of a complement to our lime, which increased the pH so we could control that. We did not use it very much. We determined we wouldn't need it for our future plant, so we did just recently sell our tank to a company who kind of refurbishes them and resells them, and so that used to be a CO2 tank.